that's underneath everything, and you've hit an anomaly that you don't understand. You say, what's that anomaly made out of? Exactly. I know that's a strange way of thinking about it, because it's not, well, you could say, we'll just go along with that. It's a metaphor. What's that anomaly made out of? Well, here's a way of thinking about it. It's made out of spirit and matter. And here's why. This is something I learned in part from Piaget. He said, well, it's made out of matter because, of course, that's the world, matter. And the world is also what matters. And so that's kind of a nice duality there. But it's made out of spirit because when you encounter something anomalous and go down the rabbit hole, when you go into the underworld that's underneath everything that you've relied on, you learn things down there. So what's down there is information. And that now it's maybe way more information than you want, but it is information. It's information. And what can you do with the information? You can inform yourself with the information, right? You can put yourself in formation with the information. That's helpful too. And you think, well, you're a psyche. Maybe you're not a spirit. It depends on, whether you're a materialist or not, but at least we can say that you're a psyche. The question is, what's your psyche made of? Well, it's obviously got a material substrate. But the matter happens to be arrayed in a particular order, and that's an information order. And so when you fall into the underworld that's underneath everything and you encounter that latent information, then what you can do is enhance your psyche. You can grow your spirit, because what you do is you take the new information and you incorporate it. That's like eating the apple that Adam and Eve ate. You incorporate that, and that makes more of you. And that's not a metaphorical or a metaphysical proposition. It's to say nothing other than, well, that's what happens when children learn. You think of what happens. Child's 3, has a pretty low resolution representation of the world, and is a fairly low resolution human being. Got all the constituent elements there, but isn't differentiated in any tremendous manner. That's all still to come in the future. And so what does the child do? Explore. Well, what do they explore? Things they don't understand. That's where the information is, because you already understand what you understand. There's no information there. You go where you don't understand. That's where the information is. And out of that information, you generate a higher resolution world, and you generate a higher resolution self. And so out of the combat with the underlying dragon of chaos, you generate spirit and matter. And that's what you do when you go down into the underworld. So if it doesn't kill you, or if it doesn't make you wish you were dead, which it probably will. But there's a bunch of you that has to die down there anyway, so maybe that's not such a bad thing, because if you had this relationship that ended in betrayal, then there's something that's just not exactly right? There's something that went, and the reason I'm saying that, you think, well, that's kind of moralistic. It's like, actually, I don't mind being moralistic, in case you haven't noticed. But it's not a fair comment, because you're playing this stupid game. It's like, you live with someone, infidelity. That's the game, right? You've decided the rules. With the game comes a morality. The morality are the rules of the game. Well, then the thing collapses into infidelity. It's like, well, you played the game wrong, or it was the wrong game. One of those two. It's one of those two. You picked the damn game. And having picked the game, you can't all of a sudden say, well, no, those aren't the rules. It's like, yeah. If you pick the game, you pick the rules. And if you fail at complying with the rules, then you failed. Now, you could say, well, I could pick a different game. It's like, I don't care how you solve the problem. You're still stuck with the problem. It's a moral problem, fundamentally. And it might take some major league retooling to fix it. So you're at point A, trying to get to point B. That's not working out. You hit an anomaly. You're not getting to point B, that's for sure. You're a medical school student. You write your MCATs, which is this test you have to write to go to medical school. You get 25th percentile. I don't know who you are, but you're not a pre-med student. And maybe you never were. Right? And that's the rub, man. And so, who the hell are you? You don't know. Collapse down here into this motivational conflict, this place of motivational and emotional uncertainty and tremendous information, right? It's a place of transformation. It's the phoenix that burns. It's the burning part of the phoenix that burns. It's the journey to the underworld. It's the journey to hell. It can really be a journey to hell, because you may find out that the reason that your partner betrayed you, or that you didn't get your damn promotion, is because there's seriously something wrong with you. And you know it. And I don't just mean that you don't know what you're doing. I mean that there's 25% of you that is seriously aiming at things not being good. And so you fall into the underworld and you find out that, God, I just got exactly what I was aiming for. Or I got exactly what the worst part of me was aiming for. And that worst part, that's something to clean up. And that's not going to be easy because it's got its hooks in me like something ferocious, something seriously ferocious. And I've been toying with it for a very long time. And maybe I can't even detach it anymore. And so that's not so fun. And you see people like that in psychotherapy very frequently. Or you see them wandering around on the streets like absolute catastrophic former shells of themselves. Because they've hit the underworld and they ended up in hell and there's no getting out of it. And so those are the people you tend to give a wide berth to when you walk down the street. So there you are, down in the underworld, right? Back where the latent information exists and just too much of it. And that's this. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And that's why the Adam and Eve story is archetypal, right? Because we're always ingesting something new that knocks us into a new state of self-consciousness. And it's always a catastrophic demolition of our previous paradise. Insufficient as that paradise was, something comes along to destroy it and knocks the slats out of our life. And that's a voyage to the underworld. Out of the walled garden into chaos.